Hi there, and welcome to match two of the UK Premier Division League Two tournament, which took place it's taking place in December 2022. So this is the second of the six matches taking place in League Two, and this is between RGN Blades, which is a team mostly comprising of RF personnel, and the Warwick University team, Where's My Fridge? So RGN Blades are a very experienced team, been competing in the leagues for a very long time. Where's My Fridge made their debut at the UK Championships in October, and so this is their first starting season. So, as ever, 7-game format. If you want to know more about how the league works, go check out our video that explains the rules in a lot more depth and how it all functions. And with that said, let's go play some HADO. So we have RGN Blades on red, and Where's My Fridge on blue. I'm probably just going to refer to as Warwick because they're all from Warwick University. That just makes my life easier. So here we go. So this is the open game of the match, which is the 3v3 freestyle. First points on the board there from RGN Blades. Really nice movement and evasion coming in from their players. You see Kangas on the front line there. Shifting and dodging very effectively around that incoming fire. But good work from Warwick there, pulled it back, 4 points apiece as we come up towards the halfway mark of the match. Now on the back wall there, not necessarily that easy to pick out, you have Tom. Tom, for anyone who's watched any of our previous videos, is normally the one whose voice you're hearing. But as he does live his life by a set of 80s action movie cliches, he has come out of retirement for one last match to aid RGN Blades at the last moment due to a team member who's unfortunately ill and unable to compete. So coming towards the last 10 seconds now, great play there from RGN Blades, pulling that back. But Warwick fighting him absolutely down to the wire here. 10 points apiece, going to the last second, and it's a draw in the opening game. Now, given the experience difference between the two teams, that's a fantastic outcome for Warwick in their opening game. So first knockout, any player is going to take this game. Aggressive opening salvo there from RGN. Great movement from Warwick to get to evade around it. Really evenly matched in the teams here. And that is the winning point there going to RGN Blades. Really, really nice play from them. Oh, both great play from both teams there. Nice movement, nice use of the court. Good evasion. Awful lot of shots fired there, 89 from Red 3. And Kangas actually there at 33%. Looking quite nice too. So, we're in our recovery phase now. As teams get themselves prepped. We're getting ready for game 2. So game 2 in the series is the scale 1 game. So players cannot spend any points into scale, which invariably means everything goes into shot speed and charge rate. This tends to be a huge amount of very fast moving projectiles, but due to their smaller scale, they are slightly less likely to hit the target. Obviously, you've got to be a lot more accurate. They also don't, as far as you can tell, aren't able to get the one-shot kills that you get in scale 2 and above. So you have to chip away at those life markers. This means these are invariably much lower points to win games. Now, depending on the dodging ability of the players, the more competent the dodging ability, the less they tend to move in these games, because they can do it much more through practical evasion, just shifting a body position one way or another during the course of play to move out the way they can fire, rather than having to make big macro motions because of the smaller shot size. Unless, of course, there's a complete barrage coming in at them. So teams make their final preps here. Normally you try and keep your stats hidden from the other team at the start of a game, but on this round, when you know that everyone's on scale 1, so therefore the extra points will all have gone to speed and charge rate, there's not a great deal to keep hidden. Just in the final seconds of countdown now, before we get ready to move into game. So it's currently 1-0 in favour of RGN Blades. Here we go. Game on. Yep, pretty much as predicted. Spread there of speed and charge rate boosts. You don't really ever see shields in this game. There's so much charge rate knocking about that shields just get destroyed almost as quickly as they put up, making them almost a total waste of points. Single point shields there, just dropped from RGN Blades, just give a little bit of breathing space. Yeah, you can see there they're gone almost as soon as they're up. The halfway mark, just 1 point lead there for RGN Blades. So these games are a lot lower point scoring. That was fantastic. A couple of hits there from RGN, jumping from 4 points to 1. That's a difficult, given how low point scoring this game is, that's a difficult gap to close there for Warwick. 5-2, 5-3. Warwick fighting back, but RGN maintaining that lead to keep that momentum up. 6-3, 6-4. Still on the fight back. RGN holding on to that 2-point lead all the way down the line here. I think this is how it works reach now. And now it's time up. So it's game 2 out of 7 going to RGN Blades. So 28% accuracy on from Mr. Blue Eyes there, which on the scale 1 game is very, very good. Obviously, it's a much smaller target, much smaller shot, means it's much harder to hit your target, much easier to evade in a lot of ways. But yeah, the accuracy rates there really telling the story of how that match went. 9 and 10% for Warwick, and double digits there for RGN Blades. So obviously, over time, that accuracy is really, really going to start to really sort of tells. I mean, good fire rates from Warwick though, so mathematically it does push their accuracy rates down slightly, but nonetheless, it's a difficult round. So we're now getting prepped up for game 3 in the series. And game 3 is the 2v2 freestyle. So no restrictions on stats chosen, but only 2 players, not 3 on the pitch, which completely alters the way the game plays and the relevant strategies and tactics. Now, generally here, you're looking to isolate each individual player at a time to go for 2 for 1 where possible. But historically, we've seen RGN quite regularly out here actually fighting as a combined unit with a heavy shielder and a shooter, and moving as a combined team. So it'd be interesting to see which way they choose to go on this round. RGN quite often brings some interesting tactics from their training from their day jobs in terms of creation of field of fire, pairings, defensive play, and other elements. So it's always interesting to see what they're going to pull out of the bag. It's nice to have a very different mindset on the approach and the tactics and ideas. Keeps everyone else on their toes. Here we go. Game 3. Switch around there from RGN. Generally, if you've got an idea of who you're facing off against, if you're looking more to do this as a straight face-off, so that sort of one-on-one style scenario, that you get an idea of who your opponent is, how you're going to play them. That sudden switch, so you're against a totally different person, can throw you off your game, which is very much done here. 4-point lead already there for RGN Blades. Really, really good use of that switch to drop Warwick onto the back foot. Now that concentrated fire from RGN, pretty much focusing 2 players on 1 at any moment in time. And that's really paying off for them here. 6-point lead coming into the final 20 seconds. And this is without a doubt RGN's game as well. This is going to take to 3 games out of 7 so far. Well, so 3 games out of 3, and obviously 3 games out of 7 in the series. 9 points to 2. Yeah, beautiful tactics there from RGN, threw Warwick off the game fantastically in that opening movement, and just maintained momentum and dominance throughout. Very, very good play from RGN there. So it's played to extent on the experience difference between the two teams. I mean, great accuracy from Warwick though, 44%, but just that movement, energy, and aggression, and the teamwork there from RGN, really giving them the edge against Warwick in this one. So getting prepped. Back to our 3v3. So game 4. Game 4 is the Shields game. So Shields match, teams must spend a minimum of 8 ability points on shields across the 3 players. They can spend more if they want to, but they can't spend less than 8. Unfortunately, we've seen already, we've had a couple of matches where teams have fallen foul of this and spent and failed to meet this points criteria for the Shields game. Particularly for some reason, it's particularly the Shields round that causes this issue. And if you spend less than those 8 points, you don't meet the criteria, you automatically forfeit the game. Not a mistake you want to be making. Obviously, you never want to give up a game anyway. You don't want to lose a game, let alone have to forfeit it just because you didn't press the right buttons on your wrist. So get prepped up. Usually what we see here is a rank 5 shielder, a rank 2 shielder, and a rank 1 shielder. And with the rank 2 and rank 1 shielders quite heavily focused on charge rate to help get rid of the shields. And rank 5 shielder there obviously to give firing positions for them and also to counter shield against the opposing team's rank 5 shielder. That tends to be the meta at the moment for this round. Let's see whether the teams have both gone down that route. Here we go, game on. Nice early motion, and I may have cursed the brick there, because that is 7 points on their shields. Looks like RGN haven't realised, nor has Warwick, so they're choosing to play the round out. But irrespective of the scoreline here, Warwick have lost this match and have forfeited to RGN Blades. They have only 7 points spent on shields, not the prerequisite minimum of 8. In fact, getting that, RGN have actually spent 9 points on shields. Unfortunately, Warwick put up a great showing here, but this is not their game. Unfortunately, it's automatically forfeited to RGN. But hey, it's more game experience. So I don't believe at this point they've realised that they've failed on the requirements of this particular game. It's a shame because it's a really nice game to watch. This was great movement, good use of shields, nice defensive play, excellent from Warwick in terms of how they've played it, what they've done there. But nonetheless, they failed to meet the game criteria. That's an automatic game forfeit for Warwick, which is a shame on an 8-3 win, making this 4 games to nothing in the series in favour of RGN Blades. So, what's your point scores, guys? You cannot afford to just give games away, especially not when you're already on the back foot there. They'll be kicking themselves over that one for a while. Not said they're not the only ones. We've already had multiple teams do this. For some reason, it's a shield round that catches everyone, and that's where the errors are creeping in. And these automatic forfeits are really costing some of the teams. See, not a way you want to lose a match. Just failing to put your points in for these sorts of games, especially where there's the predetermined points levels. Teams need to have decided all these tactics well in advance. For each round, each player needs to know what their stat set's going to be, so they can get those points in nice, quick, cleanly. They get everything correct. Everyone knows where everyone's role is, and you don't get these sorts of mistakes, because that's an exceptionally costly mistake for just not having just talked properly with your teammates before things started. But the match is not over. We've still got plenty more gameplay to go. So, game 5, getting prep now. So, back to that 3v3, the freestyle. This time it is 1v1. Now, Kangas playing on the red team there for RGN Blades. And it'll undoubtedly do even more to brush his ego up, which does not need any brushing up at all, but he is, to be fair, exceptionally good at 1v1. This is definitely a strong point for him. So, given the performance so far, obviously the odds are not favouring Warwick in this round, but all sorts of things could happen in the 1v1. A lot of it tends to come down to who gets that first knockout, because it can be really, really difficult to come back after that. Once you lose momentum in this game, it's hard. Generally, the meta here is fast shot, large shot size, low charge, and no points and shields. Tends to be where the meta sits on this one, because it's about getting that first knockout. Because they've seen one of the person on the other side, point scoring is lower. There's only 1 point available anyway. They get to focus on you all the time, so you've got no options for you get no opportunity for blindside shots and things like that. You can't really have shielding to protect yourself, so it's all about movement. So good mobile games, but low point scoring, and very much about who gets that initial momentum. So let's see how we go. Yep, so both on very similar meta there. Slightly higher charge rate from RGN, and slightly large shot size from Warwick, but very similar firepower builds. Given the difference in charge rate, we expect to be seeing a significant difference in shots fired. Not sure we're really seeing that at the moment. Both clipping away at each other. And first point on the board there for RGN, just before the halfway mark. So I think it takes like nearly half the game just to get that first point on the board. Really just highlight just how low a point scoring the 1v1s are. But it's also why it's so important to get that first one, because it just takes so long to take a point off an opponent who can evade well. Now, at this point, Warwick have got to get a knockout. They've got to get a knockout in the next few seconds. 2 points to nothing. He's got a point back. It's technically possible at this stage, but very, very unlikely Warwick are going to pull this back. He needs a one-shot kill realistically in the next 5 seconds, which against a focused opponent who's evading well, that's not going to happen. So, well played though. Great getting that point back on the board there against Kangas. That's 2 points to 1 in favour of RGN Blades, and 5 games to nothing in this series so far. I mean, again, although obviously Warwick lost that game, they still had the highest hit rate in terms of percentage, but nearly twice the shots fired. Yeah, close to twice the shots fired there from red in comparison to blue, though. And as there was only 1 point difference on charge rate, that's not really explainable just off the charge rate. That's just a better balance between charge and fire being shown from the red team. So back to 3v3. Guys getting prepped up. So this one is game 6, and game 6 is the HADO 20. So of your points on your wrists, obviously each player gets 1 point for free. So across your team, you effectively have 12 points pre-spent at the start of each game before you start adding your bonus points, and each player's got 6 bonus points. So if it had a 20, your total amount of points spent cannot exceed 20. So 20 is the maximum it can be, can't go to 21. So of your, obviously you get 12 points each, you get 12 points to start with as a team, so you've got 8 points left to spend across your team. Normally you'd have 18 points to spend across the team from the bonus points, because each player gets 6, as I said. So you have to have 10 unspent points across your team, and a maximum of 6 points spent on any individual player. So here you get how the players cope with effectively lower levels of resources and ability. How do they mix and match those points across the team? Do they spread them evenly? Do they try and focus one player up? Do they try and maximise people? The most successful meta we're seeing at the moment is obviously one player with no points spent on them, who's there to grab attention, try and divert the opposition and dodge a lot. One player who takes shields, and the other player takes a standard firepower build. But let's see whether these two teams have chosen to run this one. So we've got charge and firepower and 2 lower rank firepower builds from RGN. So these guys have got all firepower. So definitely dropping a shield build player in is what we're seeing in the League 1 meta at the moment. League 2 is looking like much more about the firepower and just going for points, but definitely working for RGN at the moment. Coming up on the halfway mark there at 3 points to nothing. First point on the board there for Warwick, clawing it back nicely, 2 points. 4-2, 5-2. RGN starting to really power ahead here. Work cut out for them to claw that back. They've started putting up a good fight, but they've got to try and get the momentum going again. 20 seconds left to play. Still doable for Warwick. RGN are in quite a commanding position here. We've really got to try and pull ahead. 2 points in it. 5 seconds to play. 3 points in it. That looks like that's a done deal now for RGN. Yep. As RGN taking the 6th game in the series, 8 points to 5, taking it 6 games to nothing in the series. It's a real shame about that Shields game for Warwick. Because I think that one extra point in Shields would not have altered the outcome at all for them in that match, and that would have been a win. But yeah, definitely a costly one for them. So 6 games played in the series, getting ready to move to game 7. Game 7 here is the 3v3 freestyle. So moving back, so same setup as game 1. No restrictions on the players, whatever tactics they want. Obviously, at this point, you've played 6 games in a quick sequence, though. So physical fitness is starting to play a key part here. So let's see how the guys hold it together moving into this final game of the series. A lot of tactical discussion going on for Warwick. Looking to see now they've seen RGN play. They've faced off against them. Trying to get some idea about where they want to go, what they think RGN are going to do. I would expect a heavy shield build from RGN at this point. Something that's just going to let them sort of lock out, defend, and not need to put quite the same level of movement and effort in as we've seen against some of the earlier games. Be my expectation here. Whereas Warwick, obviously, they're looking for a win. They're trying to get that first game point on the board for this tournament. So I'd more likely to expect a firepower build from them. But let's see where we go. There, no shields for either side. Both teams have gone firepower. So I call RGN completely wrong there. Moving nicely on the back wall there. 2 points to nothing to Warwick though. 3 points to nothing. Great opening work here from Warwick. They've clearly been starting to learn movement patterns, ideas there from RGN. 4 points apiece, holding them nicely now. RGN just starting to edge ahead towards the halfway mark. That really was a great opening salvo and balance there from Warwick. Warwick coming back 5 points apiece. 6 points apiece. Keeping RGN in check every step of the way. Need to get that pulled back again. Can't let RGN start to extend any kind of lead on them. 2 points ahead now for RGN. 3 points ahead. Not looking great for Warwick. Need a real concerted fight back here. Fantastic evasion movement there from RGN. A huge barrage coming from Warwick, but they have pulled it back. 11 points now, Warwick in the lead. RGN pulling it back, going to the final 2 seconds. Both teams scoring literally in the last half a second of the game. They're taking this to 12 points apiece and overtime. So first knockout, any player takes this game. Can Warwick take the game in the series? Really great evasion there from RGN, but not enough. That's it. Warwick take it, 13 points to 12. So there's 1 game to 6 in this match series. So bonus point going to RGN, giving them a total of 7 points for this match, and 1 point to Warwick for this match. So really nice play there. Great opening salvo from Warwick. Great, really pushed RGN back, kept them in check all the way down the line, gave them an absolute neck and neck, and then that final finisher then in overtime. So again, it's one of those matches where, although it was 6 points to 1 on the total games, those games were an awful lot closer than that scoreline really reveals. And given the experience difference between the two, that was an amazing showing from Warwick. I think a bit more training, a bit more time on court, a bit more tournament experience, and Warwick are going to be a very serious contender as a team there. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the good things while you're here, and we'll catch you at the next match.